get into a very exciting best of 3 here in the Kung Fu Cup. This is going to be in the top right-hand corner of the map, the blue Zerg player from Dragon Kaiser Gaming. This is Dark. He takes on the bottom left red Terran player from onside. It is Maru. Game number 1. It's best of 3 series. It is the quarterfinals here, Kung Fu Cup. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we have happen across the course of what should be some very fun TvZ. Excited to see just exactly again how this one is going to end up playing out. Already an Overlord just flying about as well a little bit. Just going to come down to the center for a little while. See a little bit of what's going on in these early stages. Just gathering some info and everything initially. Chilling around, Reaper in the orbital, continuing up here as well, so just continue to get that on the go, bringing that all into play for the moment. Getting that all set right now. So just continue to get this on the go. Again, orbital coming up, the Reaper's coming through. And yeah, so far, again, pretty much just so good. Only a few minutes expecting a fairly standard game. Obviously no low ground barracks, no Reapers or anything in that regard, so that's always fun and interesting to see as well. We're not going to be making any major progress in that direction because Maru was always a lover of those Reapers in the last few months. Of course, it's an interesting discussion because Maru, we always thought, you know, pretty much always been one of the very best in Korea, but I think more recently he's become a much more beatable player. A lot of people would say he's not in his best form right now, he's not in his best shape, and I think that's pretty fair criticism, slash not even really criticism, just note-taking. So yeah, a Maru that's maybe not in his best form, can he actually step up and, you know, take on Dark? Can he actually battle Dark in a series? A Dark that clearly is playing very well. Just came out of a top 2 finish at Atlanta, for example, so... yeah, I mean, that's why this series for me is very exciting. I kind of had my eyes on it from the very start of the bracket. You might have noticed the matches I was jumping into kind of naturally led us here. And that's because I did not want to miss the possibility of Maru Dark, because I'm very intrigued how Maru's TvZ shapes up against Dark. How is Maru looking? Just how is he? Again, it's good to cast Maru games anyway, because we don't get to see Maru games all the time. It's never a guarantee that we get to cast Maru. Whereas, you know, even Dark plays in a lot of the online cups that we cover nowadays, so we get to see a lot of Dark games. We don't get to see that many Maru games when it comes to what I get to cast. Obviously, still plays GSLs and the bigger tournaments in general. Definitely fairly noteworthy, though, as the Reaper takes a shot of damage off the Queen. Just pushed away over to the side. Link speed coming up, a couple more Hellions in the Star Portal coming out as well, so everything getting produced through for the moment. You have that roach run already building on the side of Dark also, so just getting that brought up as well here. In these early moments. And everything on the go-go. Roach is building, a couple Lings come over, gonna grab themselves an SCV already. In fact, the Lings actually gonna do very well in the counter-attack, and they find themselves a couple of SCVs, so damage being done. It's a really nice catch as a few more Lings gather up together. It's gonna start pushing on forward. See, the Hellions can play defense back at home. It's going to be a big part of what Maru is planning to get done here. Let's just have 5 OVs all coming out. Liberator and the Marine, the Stim Pack as well, all coming through as well. Just continue to build into a little bit of everything there. Hellions still producing through the center. Actually, kind of just old school TvZ this, right? 3cc, Hellion Liberator, Stim Pack on the follow-up. We see so many kind of different, kind of aggressive kind of TvZs nowadays with Cyclones and just Reapers. To see kind of like older school TvZ is very funky. That's exactly what we're going to get right now. Meanwhile, Dark is doing very old school, like, oh, you're going to play like this, I'm going to Roach Ling all in you. So Dark just kind of bringing the aggression that we know Dark can bring. Hellions are zoning around the Lings, but we need to have an answer to those roaches in place. And right now, there's no defense on the natural. There's no bunker or anything. Ravagers are morphing in, and we are stepping closer and closer towards a situation here where Dark is about to absolutely make Maru's life very, very miserable, I think. As Maru has the Liberator set up on the high ground as well, though, I mean, there's only so much that can do. It's going to probably go elsewhere to try and save itself from being corrosive bowed down too quickly. I'm just going to pull back a little bit. The wall off is not going to last very long because it wasn't a finished wall in the first place. Corrosive bowers would have knocked it down any which way. With those depots being a major part of the wall, you can get through there without too much issues. So Dark knocks down the wall. That means the Lings are free to flood on forward. They're going to take up a lot of the shots. They surround the bunkers. 2 bunkers did get up in the end, but they do not last long against the corrosive bowers. A lot of those available. A siege tank is going to get a few shots off as Maru is making a bit of a defense here. The tank does not go down to any corrosive bowers at a safe enough distance that it will live for the moment. Maybe now this tank will fall if the bowers able to come through again, but the Lings are just being shot down by everything else, and it's only a few Ravagers left. I'm not sure that's enough to push through from Dark, who for all the damage done is only ahead by a handful of workers. Maru is able to push this back, and Maru is going to defend against this big attack at Dark. Continue to stem through. The Lings that are reinforced are not doing much. That's a problem for Dark, is that he's still reinforcing units, but they're not really gaining anything right here. Dark loses a few more Ravagers as well, and Maru holds. All said and done, Maru's army supply is still down by a pretty significant amount. You know, he's down 20 army supply. Maybe actually Dark can do something more with these extra units he's been making. He's at least going to try it out. At least it looked as though he was going to. In the end, he didn't go any further forward there. So, maybe not so much at the end of the day. One upgrades and the combat shield coming through on the side of Dark as well. So we continue to bring that by right here. There's a couple of barracks just continue through as well. Take a few moments to just chill out. Things move back around on the bottom side, biking overhead. Game obviously will resettle a little bit, although Maru is not going to give Dark too much freedom. Maru believes with the medevacs and stim and everything, he should be able to take some map control. Because Dark is a very long way off and a lot of his upgrades and stuff that he might usually be wanting to have at this stage as well, so keeping that in mind, these Lings run in easily enough to get rid of those few Marines, so that's an easy job done. Well, Dark defending against the potential aggression from Maru right now, making sure Maru can't end up doing too much so far. Well, overlords just keep popping out as well. See that combat shield coming by. These Lings do go running through. The SCVs pull away for a couple of seconds there, just going to try and keep themselves in a little bit of safety, keep themselves in a fairly safe place. Stepping forward, Hatchery going to take a little bit of damage, going to take a few shots, and it's going to get cancelled. So Maru is finding damage throughout this. He is starting to get some little bits and pieces done. He is starting to progress into some better positions as we still see the 2-2 upgrades coming up as well. Medevac's back up the top side. 1-1 missiles and carapace upgrade continue to come through. We do have ourselves, again, the 2-2 on the way from Maru as well. The Medevac, the Marines all producing. We dive in toward the main base. In we go. Medevac's going to begin to unload. The Queens will be here first. Medevac about to go down. The rest of these Lings start running forward. And, again, defense is there from Dark. Maru with a third base now up. I tell you what, Dark about to finish 1-1. Is he just going to send it with 1-1 roaches? It kind of feels like it. Well, he obviously had his fourth base killed off, so now he doesn't have a fourth. He has no reason to saturate it. He's just going to produce units instead. He's making a bunch more overlords, and it looks as though Dark's going to send it, although currently supply blocked means that maybe it won't be as strong as it should have been. Gets forward here straight away. First couple of tanks are not going to last long for Maru. The SCVs finally start to join the fray, but I don't think Maru is quite ready for the ferocity at which Dark is arriving with. The units on the backside will go down, but every single tank gets knocked down without any tanks here. Do we have a defense available? I really struggle to believe that we do. Marines coming back across. Actually, Maru, he might have lost a lot of SCVs here, but he does win in the terms of pushing the army back. I say win. Obviously, that comes at a cost. The SCV count is bad, but the army supply is still okay for Dark. He just needed to get those units out of there, which he just managed to do. Didn't lose too much. And I think Dark is edging himself closer and closer to victory here in this game number 1. As, yeah, Maru, I think, just lost a little bit too much along the way on that one. A little bit unfortunate. Actually going to catch some of these Ravagers morphing at least. So Maru gets a little bit of something. A few morphing Ravagers. Cancels those. Obviously gets the Roaches that they were morphing from, so they will be killed. So there's a little bit of value gained on that. We see Ravagers and Roaches are going to go and open up the rocks here. So opening up a little bit of space for the moment as well. So you have a couple more Liberators coming out. Marine Marauder tank on the way through. The Bioforce coming in once again, just pushing back that army. Pushing back a lot of that Roach Ravager once again. Just a few moments. She's going to continue to fight. Roaches and Ravagers still being chased away. And Maru continues to just push on forward. Does have 2-2 upgrades, so the upgrade advantage for Maru. Is that enough to make this army good enough? He's obviously, the further forward he's fighting, the further away from his siege tanks he's fighting. So he needs to be a little bit careful about where exactly he's taking the fights. Now one tank gets Corrosive Bile down, and that's the dance Maru has to play. Does he fight forward with the Bio and protect his tanks, or does he fight back and let his tanks fire, but obviously expose them to the Corrosive Biles? A lot of questions, a lot of decisions. The Liberator sieging up here as well. Maru's push is in full swing right now. As the question really comes down to, can Dark hold this off? Can Dark keep this back? Can Dark stop Maru and cause him too much trouble? As the Bio are going to stim it up once again. The Corrosive Biles coming down once more. No, I mean, Maru's army supply is getting closer and closer. Those Biles did not finish off that siege tank either, so that gets to live for a little bit longer. Anytime a tank lives, potentially gets another shot off, it's got to be a problem for Dark here, right? It's got to be something you've got to be a little wary of at the very least. But it could be dangerous. Feels like Dark is playing with fire right now. The Liberator gets itself sieged up. The Roach Ravager pushing through. So many Roaches on the way from Dark. That is his benefit. Obviously, his units are pretty cheap to replenish, but are they good enough at this point? Is there just a critical mass of tank bio? Tanks going down. 2 of them fell during this fight. We've only got 3 tanks remaining. We're actually going to unsiege one of them. Move it further up. We're going to lose another tank, though. The Corrosive Biles really starting to connect, and there's a lot of Roaches that were in production now starting to show up here as well. Maru, the reinforcing tank, is still not quite over here. Going to try and get there, but it looks as though Dark finally has got themselves the moment to just commit to the attack. And he's going to push through this attack, and Maru finally suffers a blow devastating enough to push it all the way home, and it might actually be enough to then just end the game, because at this point Dark may never stop attacking. Medevac's all low HP. At the very least, this third base of Maru is not going to be allowed to live easily, and that's obviously a problem. That's obviously something he kind of needs. His economy is more or less reliant on the third base right now, because the main and natural have already been mining out. Ravagers trying to flank around, I think, just trying to get Corrosive Biles on the siege tanks that are a little bit deeper in play. Why the hell not? As well, the SCV's pulling once again, going to be the tankiness for the Marine Marauder. But again, too much Roach, too much Ravager. Dark has successfully held on in one hell of a game. 14 minutes after the initial Roachling all in, Maru was able to just about hold that off. It did feel like Dark, for the most part, was probably still in control of this. The age-old battle of trying to eat lunch while it's hot, not during the games of StarCraft. In the bottom right side, up 1 game in this best of 3 quarterfinal, it is Dark. Taking on the Red Terran. In the top left from onside, we have got Maru. Fun game. It was actually a really fun game. One of those ones you definitely didn't really know how it was going to all turn out for a while, right? It definitely had a good few twists and turns, that's for sure. Well, Rax and the gas all coming up, getting everything on the way. Taking a few moments to establish throughout the early stages. So yeah, low ground barracks, but no second racks, so very likely that this becomes an attempt to maybe just kill the first overlord or so, moving across the map. Saw this when we were casting some games yesterday, in fact. Kill that first overlord, do some damage from there. There's a Marini's on the way. Just going to be seeing the command center coming up. We get all of this on the goes. Just going to be having a couple of queens and so on. Getting set for the moment. Whoever I'm following is not following anything. It's probably because I was not actually following them properly. These two Marines are going to grab the overlord. And that overlord will go down. The barracks is going to get positioned a little bit. So that's exactly what you're looking for as Maru, to get rid of that first overlord. And that's exactly what he manages to do. So successful start on Maru's point of view. He does exactly what his build is meant to early. It slows down a little bit of the build of the Zerg and everything, right? So a little bit of value to be found there, which you can be fairly happy about. Moving into this next step. Oh, Dark just going to all in. Bane that's coming down early. Link start a flood. He's just going to Bane bust it. Now there's a bunker, but the bunker is in the wall off. A bunker behind the wall off is very different to a bunker in the wall off, because a bunker behind the wall off would obviously, you know, first you've got to use Banes on the wall off, and then you've got to use Banes on the bunker, and it's not oftentimes you have enough Banes to do that. Now, you only have to use the Banes on the bunker, and it's a 2-in-1. You get rid of the bunker, and you break through the wall, so that bunker may be a blessing in disguise for Dark, actually, with where it's positioned and how Maru has chose to set himself up here in this game number 2. The Banes begin to morph, the Link speed's coming up, we are getting set to go. I think it's fair to say that we are looking to be very much so in a killer position here as Dark. I mean, Maru just has nothing. This has to be something just shy of a miraculous defense. Honestly, it's not going to be easy. The Banes wander up. Like I say, we don't even really need to go after the bunker too heavily. The Lings had a bit of a surround on it. There's no wall on the high ground. GG, Dark very easily takes this game. You cannot defend this with a bunker in the wall. You cannot defend this with a bunker in the wall. GG's. Almost 100 months of wasted money, says Halston with the 96-month resub.